Hey y'all, wanted to come on today and just do a really basic tutorial for the HAC method with your makeup. So if you're kind of new to the makeup and you just need a little bit of, how am I basically using this? That's what I wanted to do today. So it's called the HAC method. That's highlight and contour, a lovely acronym. And it is just how you put on those really basic colors. So all we're going to do today is we're going to use the highlight, your main highlight, your brightening highlight, your contour, and then a lip and cheek, just to kind of show you how that goes. But we're going to start with putting on a little bit of a primer. I actually use Seint's, I don't know if you can see it, Seint's setting spray is my primer. I used to use this e.l.f. I had it out somewhere to show you guys. There it is. Because I don't like to pay a lot. So you may have a primer you love. You just want to make sure it's not silicone based with the Seint makeup or with the cream makeup really at all. So this works, this e.l.f. Poreless putty primer, and it works well. I didn't really have a reason to not use it other than I'm just trying to consolidate, and I already used the setting spray to set. And so I started using the setting spray as a primer, and it works great. And so that's one less thing to worry about getting. My house is falling apart, but don't be alarmed. Anyway, I just kind of spray this around and rub it in. And guys, that primer is just going to kind of help your makeup stay in place a little bit better. I've forgotten to use, shocker, I forget things a lot because sometimes I'm doing too many things at once, but I have forgotten to put my primer on before. The makeup still does a really good job of staying on. However, I do think it probably helps a little bit, so I did it. All right, so once you got that primer on, you're going to use, like I said, we're going to use the really 4 colors. We're going to use 2 highlights, a contour, and a lip and cheek, and we're going to do it with 2 brushes, I think. And I'll tell you why. This is the detail brush. I love this brush because it's great for the contour because it's already got that natural line that you're going to want to use when you're contouring. And then I like this smaller brush for being real specific or real particular about where the brightening highlight's going. And then I just do my main highlight and my blending with this blush and bronzer brush. But you could really use just one brush. You could use your fingers. You're going to need something to kind of blend it. These brushes are great because they're that 2-in-1. And they're really high quality brushes, which I'm going to be honest. I should do a whole video on brushes. I was not a brush. I was like, I'm not spending my money on all these brushes. But newsflash, they actually, good brushes are actually really beneficial. So I'm going to start with the contour. I'm not going to really share the colors I'm using other than the lip and cheek because your colors will be different. If you want to start with the Seint makeup and you haven't been using it already and you haven't been color matched, absolutely get in touch with me so I can color match you because all of the colors are custom to your own complexion and what you need, right? But the basics are the same. So I'm going to start with this messy compact that I use. And I'm going to just kind of tap into my contour. Put my contour on first, just below my cheekbone. So that's kind of where the bone, I'm feeling the bone. I'm going to put it just below and I'm going to definitely angle up. You don't want to get too low, like you're not going in the hollow of your cheek. Because look, you can already see that it's kind of pulling my face up. If I'm going too low, it's going to pull it down. Also, I'm going at a slight angle up into my hairline. The other thing with the contour is I'm going like mid my eye. Now I've seen some people that have really prominent apples of their cheeks and they may go down and around there a little bit. I'm not going to show you that because that's not what I do because it doesn't look good on me. I have a really longer face. I don't have that full face, but the nice thing about this, you can kind of play around with some of the things that might look better on you. But this is, like I said, the basics. The next thing, I'm still in that contour. I'm going to contour up here. I have a very high forehead and kind of a long face, so I'll use a pretty good bit of highlight up here just to kind of pull that shadow in, and I'll of course blend it later. Then I'm going to come down here under my cheek or chin, that is not my cheek, and around my jawline. And then I'm going to show you one more thing that I do, because I have these kind of what they call jowls, which is just a lovely name. And I just go along that to kind of put a little shadow on that, kind of, you know, anything you want to reseed and not highlight. There's that name, there's the word. You can kind of use that contour. And then the last thing I do in my contour is I'm just taking my finger and dabbing it in there, so I have a little bit, put it together, and then come right alongside my nose. Now, I have seen people, you will see if you're watching any of the, and then right along the bottom. If you are watching videos, or if you know, a lot of the people will really draw that line. If you're good at that, go for it. I am not. Part of the thing I think with me is I had skin cancer here before, and they had to remove it. So PSA, please use sunblock. But when they did, I already had a ridge on my nose. It's hereditary from my dad, so I'm okay with that. But when they did that surgery and had to pull it, I really have a prominent place right there. And I think drawing those lines, it looked bad on me. So that's easy peasy way to do it. It's just like that. All right. The next thing, I'm still using the same brush, but I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna get my brightening highlight. And I'm kind of going this T-zone a little bit, right? I'm going to go along my cheek, my chin. I don't know why I want to call my jaw and my chin my cheek today. Just kind of, I don't have a really prominent jaw, and so this helps just a little bit. And again, I just kind of do this. Now, a lot of people are going to go right at their chin. I have a long face, so I don't want to do that. Like I said, you kind of got to figure out what works for you. But definitely you can highlight right there on your chin. And then I just do a quick line underneath my contour, because it's going to make it pop just a little more. All right, and then now I'm switching brushes to this blush and bronzer. I'm going to use the smaller end right now, and I'm going to go in my main highlights. It's a little darker, right, than my brightening highlight. I can't talk and do that at the same time. It's really what what we used to call our base or our foundation. I'm going to go back where right here at my eyes in just a little bit and put some more of the brightening highlight. I do that last, and I don't know why. I think it just helps me to do it last, but I could have showed you that. So I've got all the regular main highlight on. I'm going to go back, I'm going to grab that detail brush, and I'm going to go back into my lightening, and I'm going to go right along that tear trough. I actually did a little color correction already under my eyes. I have a video about that if you want to see it, but so I'm just going to put some there in that tear trough, and then right around right here, and then just a little bit. And sometimes I'll do this after eyeshadow, and I've not done my eyeshadow today, but I'll go ahead and do it just a little bit there to kind of raise it up. All right, I have got all that on. Now, you can go ahead and put on your blush now and do it, but I kind of like to get all this on and blend it, and then I'll just go back and put my blush on. I don't know why. I feel like I place my blush better. Maybe that's just me, but you definitely could go ahead and do that. But I'm just going to start blending in. So I'm going to take the same brush, and you could use the big end or the small end. I kind of like that small end, gives me a little more control, but you could use that big end. And I'm looking over here at this mirror, make sure I'm getting it in. I'm just going to blend. Now, you want to blend your lighter colors first. Really, you probably should blend your lightest color first. I tend to blend my main highlight first, just because, I don't know why, but I do. But before you start doing your contour, kind of get that brightening highlight blended in, and that's because you don't want to muddy that up, right? So once I've done that, then I'm going to go into my contour. And guys, you can just tap, and a lot of times here I will, but I do a really light brush on mine sometimes. I find it blends better for me, but you don't want to wipe it off. So, you don't want to really get it in there. I've just got a very light touch, and I also do some tapping as well. All right. Look, let me check my regular mirror that I can actually see in. All right. I think we're pretty good. I'm going to grab this little brush and just kind of smooth this out a little. And then for my later purposes, when I do my eyeshadow, I also take my light brightening highlight and put it here. I used to use a primer for my eyeshadow, and like I said, trying to consolidate. This works well for me, so I just do that. It's kind of like my primer. All right, so the final thing we want to do is do our lip and cheek. You can, any lip and cheek. I've got several here on this one. I'm going to do a nude. I believe that's called nude. Don't worry, I'm going to add a little more to it because this looks great just on some people, just the nude, but I have to add a little bit of color to it. All right, and then this pink that I cannot remember what it's called. Let me click it out real quick. And I will tell you, it is called, sorry, I should have probably known that already, Candy. Okay, so it's this pink color right here. I didn't plan what I was going to put on before I did this, so. And I'm just kind of putting it over that nude. And I love that about these creams. I kind of blend a lot. Like I want it to have a little bit of this tone, but I don't want it to be completely that, and so I'll blend it. All right, so I've got that on. I'm just gonna kind of tap that in, because it's pretty light. I want to be sure I'm not wiping it away. Just gonna kind of tap it in. Okay, so after that, I would do my eyeshadow. I would, I'm not going to go over bronzer and illuminator right now, but you definitely are going to, if you want to use that, you pop that on. But this is your basic. So again, we used our main highlight, our brightening highlight, our contour. So that's your HAC, and then just a lip and cheek of your choice. Easy peasy. If you haven't gotten a color match, you may be looking at this because you already have your color match and you're just checking out how to apply. But if not, and you would like a color match, just click on my link there. You want to take a makeup-free selfie and some good lighting, but there's directions how to do that. And I will send you your own personalized colors that you would use for this exact thing, right? I'm going to send you those two highlight colors, your contour color, and then just some suggestions for lip and cheek, but that's totally just, your preference. Anyway, hope this was helpful. If you have questions, or like I said, if you want that color match, please feel free to get in touch with me. I would love to hear from you. Have a great day.